PSA to everyone out there. I'm speaking for myself, but I'm probably speaking for a large majority of other officers out there. If we're driving on the freeway in our police car, get the out of the way. Get the out of the way. If you merge and we follow behind you and we merge too, you're probably in trouble. Best way to find that out is get the out of the way. I can go 90 miles an hour. You can't. You can't do that. So get the out of the way. If us officers stay behind you long enough, we can find a reason to pull you over. So you might as well get the out of the way. Super simple. That's all. You're welcome.
I gotta say, I appreciate this public service announcement, which amounts to a the more you know moment brought to us by a gang, and we're all wearing the wrong colors in the wrong neighborhood, by the way. But thanks for telling me to move over. I will continue to do that. Believe me when I say that day to day, I make it a point to avoid interactions with police. My spidey senses start to tingle when a cruiser is near me. My black spidey senses, if you will. Shout out to Miles Morales. Now let's just skim over the fact that Federal Way Police Department officer Brianna Strauss admitted to essentially looking for reasons to pull someone over. And the glaring hole in what she said about if we merge and the police merge too, then we're probably in trouble, because what if we're simply trying to get out of the way like you asked? And while I am far from a journalist, being a content creator for the Young Turks, I should take it upon myself to not only provide perspective, but to ask the tough questions. You viewers deserve it. So when Officer Strauss said, if us officers stay behind you long enough, we can find a reason to pull you over, I was wondering, why though? Like, how about you not? Now, there are clearly some dangerous things that happen on the road that need to be addressed. I mean, if someone isn't wearing a seatbelt or is speeding or texting while driving, sure. Do your thing. Not that I should be telling police how to do their job. I mean, I'm struggling to be a journalist over here. But even with that, going 90 miles per hour, a cop could reasonably find other ways to police others than to pass out tickets and fines. Pull up next to folks and use the universal symbol for putting on your seatbelt. Make this face to let them know that they need to slow down. And I'm sure people will get it if you did this. With all of this said, Federal Way Police Officer Brianna Strauss is under investigation after posting this controversial video on TikTok. Reportedly, she has not been placed on administrative leave. The Federal Way Police Department released this statement. Pause to read it if you'd like.
I can go 90 miles an hour. You can't. You can't do that. So get the out of the way. If us officers stay behind you long enough, we can find a reason to pull you over. So you might as well get the out of the way. Super simple. That's all. You're welcome.
You are welcome? Federal Way Police Chief Andy Wong is not commenting on his decision to issue a 10-hour suspension of Officer Strauss, although another commander on the force, Kurt Schwan, has said to reporters that Strauss had no previous disciplinary issues and that the department has not received any complaints against her regarding arrests, citations, or traffic stops. In other words, she's had a clean record until now. For a year. That's the standard? Somebody's clean for a year and therefore she does something like this? Something so egregious as to admit and use F-bombs and to say that you need to get the F out of the way and to put that on video. And because she's not done anything else in 1 year, it's only a 10-hour suspension. Really? There's a good argument here that Strauss should have been fired, that the police should nip this in the bud. But this video is enlightening in several ways. Officer Strauss has admitted on camera that she and other cops can abuse their authority, intimidate you, assert their power over you whenever they want and for no reason whatsoever. It's remarkable. And by the way, when it comes to having a police car behind you on a road or a highway, you are under no obligation to get out of the way or get the F out of the way unless that police car has its lights flashing or its siren blaring. And yet there's Officer Strauss saying, if you don't get the F out of the way, well, then we're going to pull you over. The fact of the matter is there have been a number of people on social media ever since this video got posted, people who were in law enforcement who said that when they were cops, if there was somebody who was just sort of driving along the road and a police car pulled up behind them, that if the person suddenly veered out and changed lanes, the police officer would then pull that person over because of what they describe as consciousness of guilt, that the person suddenly is trying to avoid police at all costs and is acting very quickly, and as a result, police would think, aha, there must be something this person has to hide. That's what happens if you immediately pull the F out of the way in front of a police car, at least with some cops. It is clear that Officer Brianna Strauss is arrogant and has a chip on her shoulder. It's also clear that her department, like so many other police departments, is going to try to cover for that sort of attitude, thus the very weak and meaningless suspension. A lot of people point out that there's no gang that is more dangerous in America than police. And this video underscores it. Again, Brianna Strauss is a poster child for everything that is wrong with police. She should not be on the force. She should not get just a slap on the wrist. And yet she continues despite this incredible, obnoxious video. It is truly amazing, but maybe we shouldn't be surprised.